I arrived at Conker's for Sunday tea as usual, and was invited to return for dinner. Before I left, Mrs. Horsehair asked me to advise her on a certain problem, and we went into the library to discuss it. Mrs. Horsehair then confided in me that she and the young film director Oscar's son, her weekend guests, were planning to marry. I expressed my approval of the project, congratulated her, and then asked what the problem might be. She was worried about how the marriage might affect her son Jeffrey and thought he might disapprove of her remarrying so soon, and to add more, she might object to her altering her will or inheritance in favor of her new husband. I advised her to follow her interest first. She appeared happy with this, and I left the house.
Around 7 o'clock I went upstairs to put on my new uniform because the weekend guests are coming for dinner. As I got to the top of the stairs, I heard angry voices coming from Mrs. Horsehair's room, and guessed that Mrs. Horsehair and her niece were having one of their rows. I tried not to listen, but couldn't help catching Mrs. Horsehair shouted, which goes like,
"If you marry him, you stupid little fool, I'll cast you off without a penny."
Then the door burst open, and Miss Daphne rushed out, sobbing. She ran straight to her own room. I came downstairs again about 15 minutes later, and heard Mr. Jeffrey talking to one of his gambling companions on the telephone in the hall. I tried not to listen, but I couldn't help meddling to his talk that goes,
"Can't you wait a bit longer? The old woman's so damned mean with her money. I'll find the money somehow."
And slammed the receiver down. Mr. Jeffrey is very fond of roulette, but his mother disapproves, and tries to prevent him gambling by keeping him short of money. From 7:15 till 8 o'clock I was in the kitchen preparing the food, but I peeped out to watch the guests arrive. Young Mr. Archibald looked very dashing in a blue velvet suit.
It was 7:30 p.m. when the guests began arriving at the mansion. Mr. Young Archibald looks unhappy when he saw Daphne was upset and crying. Miss Topless saw Daphne wearing the blue dress and said nothing, but she looked annoyed. During that time Miss Topless was also seem unhappy about Miss Horsehair relationship with Oscar's son. And Jeffrey were seemed to be furious during that time. Around 9 p.m. after dinner, ladies went to the parlor and the maids served them coffee. The gentlemen went into the billiard room and I served port to them. Around 9 p.m., after I left the kitchen, I saw Miss Daphne looking appealingly at me. She came up to me and pressed a note into my hand, asking me to give it to young Archibald. I couldn't help reading the note, which said, "Darling, meet me at the conservatory at 9:30, I have a plan." As I was crossing the hall, I saw Miss Topless came out of the parlor and went over to the ballroom, and I heard voices.
Around 9:45, as I crossed the hall, I overheard loud voices in the ballroom. It sounded very like Miss Topless. Suddenly the door opened and Miss Horsehair came out. She told me she was looking for her book and asked me if I know where it might be. Then she went to the library. As I crossed the hall, I heard a loud scream. I tried to call for help, but I couldn't make any sound. The kitchen door opened, and Velvet, the butler, came running out. I gasped, "The library!" Then he went to the library.
At the library, I found Miss Horsehair dead on the floor and she had been hit on the head. And I saw the ashtray full of cigarette stubs, the kind that Mr. Jeffrey smokes. I also noticed that one of the large silver candlesticks was missing. The port decanter was lying smashed on the floor and there was broken glass everywhere.